make me do this.
1.
Please.
Are you that afraid?
2.
You mind if I tape this? You taking your medications? If you're actually a danger to society, the law says that I have to report you to the police.
So, okay, the end of last season, we see the flash forward. Do you have any idea, just like as an actor playing this role, what's going to happen? Or are you just kind of going,
Not really.
You have no idea?
They like to make sure we don't spoil anything, one, because I'm really good at that. And two, I think the writers really like to see the shock on our faces at the table read.
Yeah.
So, no, I have no idea where it's going.
What's your status of Betty and Jughead's relationship now that they have a shared sibling that's alive?
Yeah, I don't think they care about the relationship weirdness that could be involved in that. But I think as it stands now, it looks like Betty's way more integrated into Charles' storyline than Jughead is. But then again, we're only on episode 2, so I don't really know.
Jughead has always fancied himself as an investigator, and now the FBI has come to him and said, "Hey, can you help us?" So
the feds.
What's his relationship with the feds going to be, and how's he going to react to all that?
I think he would be flattered, but it looks as if the majority of his investigation is going to be done at the prep school that he's going to, which kind of seems like the setting for the flash forward and what's going to be laying the groundwork for that flash forward is this incredibly pretentious Gossip Girl-like Upper East Side academy that he's being whisked away to.
So tell us, after the fallout of the season finale, we find out, your mother, all of this, are we going to kind of see you go to a darker side or maybe to a lighter side to help everybody?
Cheryl returns to that kind of gothic heroine state that she was in season 1, and I think kind of folds into herself, and then hopefully what we've talked about is her addressing all of the mental health issues she's had for the last 3.5 years on the show. So then she will eventually kind of come out of that shell, but right now she's kind of going inside.
Okay.
What do you hope for Cheryl in season 4, especially with lessons she learned about love from Tony in season 3?
I really hope that they stay together. I think Tony brings a really beautiful and vulnerable side out of Cheryl that you don't get to see with her often. And I hope that they go to college together and things can be fine, but it wouldn't be Riverdale if there wasn't a little chaos. So.
Do you have any favorite one-liners? Or she always has these really what is it? I own the color red, or I
am red.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's what's funny is I was talking to Vanessa. This is like a side note, but I was talking to Vanessa about that scene when she wore the red, and I was like, "Well, do you think you actually did it intentionally?" She's like, "No." It's like, "Oh my, you think that Tony for once in her life wore red when we were broken up just for fun?" And she was like, "Well, I guess that makes sense." I'm like, "Yeah, you were definitely trying to boil my blood." I think my favorite one is probably in Candy Store when she's singing and I go, "Shut up, Tony!" It's really funny.
What was you as Madeleine, your most, oh my god, what the hell is happening right now moment from season 3?
From season 3? I think when my mother was the Gargoyle King, I was like, of course, just another blossom down the hole. Maybe Nana Rose will be the next victim.
No.
Next year, she's the killer. I'm counting it now. I think that's the case.
So Betty's got a new brother.
Yeah, she
and apparently
does.
that's a huge part of your story this season. So what can you preview about that?
Betty is, definitely has a lot going on with Charles. He's obviously working for the FBI, trying to take down Edgar Evernever and the farm. And you find out that Alice was obviously in on it the whole time, which is shocking to Betty and kind of hard to believe. But so you see Betty working with Charles at the FBI, doing as much as a high schooler can for the FBI. But Betty's obviously, she's solved more crimes than any of the sheriffs in town, so she's pretty good. But she uses her resources at high school, being a high school student surrounded by the kids. She's definitely going to use that to her advantage. Maybe use Kevin to her advantage.
Let's talk about Polly. I've always
Sure.
had my, kind of guesses of her being behind all of this.
Sure.
Do you think we're going to really start addressing her more next season, and will we see Betty kind of confront the situation that her sister isn't who she thought she was?
I feel like no. I feel like Betty's kind of, or Polly's kind of just this figure that comes in and out. I feel like you, at the end of, I think, season 2, you saw that Polly clearly is something's going on with her.
Yeah.
I think Polly's a little bit more like Hal than Betty is. She seems a little evil. Maybe she could become, like a full-formed villain at some point. I don't know. I'm really not sure. It also kind of brings into question Juniper and Dagwood and how her babies never seem to age. Every time you see them, they're still infants, which is kind of amazing. I don't know. That's a good point. I think it would be fun to explore that side and see what the hell is up with Polly. So I don't know. We'll see.
How many times is Veronica gonna decide to re-trust her father?
I think that's over. Yeah.
For good this time?
I feel like it's. I'm not going to say that because
You never know in
you can't
Riverdale.
predict. Yeah, anything in Riverdale. But I really think it's done this time. I think Veronica stopped trusting her father a long time ago. Maybe the last time we saw her trust him was. I just remember that one scene with Pop where she was getting a little vulnerable, and Pop could see it that she was starting to trust him again and didn't want her to. I can't remember a time where she broke a little bit after that, but I hope she stays strong this season.
Well, he's scheming.
Hiram's bad news, and he's scheming in prison, and he's making her life hell from prison because he's Hiram Lodge.
Hiram being in prison, though, wouldn't that mean that your mom and you would actually be the ones who have control of the prison?
Well, no, because my mom's in prison too.
So then wouldn't you, control of the prison would fall to you and whatever guardian you had?
That
You
I
have
would.
a guardian, or are they just like
Smithers.
you by yourself?
Smithers is my legal guardian. Although he's nowhere to be found. He's definitely not at the law department, so I don't know where he is. But legally, he's my guardian. I don't think Veronica needs a guardian, honestly. She's pretty independent. She runs a business. She pays her bills. I think she's set. She can feed herself. But yeah. There was another part to your question that I was going to elaborate on.
Does she have grandparents or anything like that we might ever see? Extended family?
There is extended family that I know will appear in the season, which I'm really excited for, and I wish I could tell you more. But there's a family member Veronica didn't know existed that will appear at some point.
Is that going to be helpful for her?
No. No, it's not. It's going to be hell. All right, so tell us a little bit about what your arc is going to look like this next season, because we've seen you do so many different things and be so many different kinds of people.
There's a lot going on this season. I do know that, as you've probably heard, we're going back to the theme of the first season, where it's going to be a lot of the core four doing things together, and we're going to learn a lot more about their relationship with each other that we didn't know before. Lots more football. I don't know what's going on with the boxing. He still has the gym, but I think there's going to be a lot more stuff between Archie and Reggie in the football world, and even Mad Dog coming into the Bulldogs.
Yes.
Do you think Archie learning lessons from season 3 that he's taking into season 4, even though they're kind of resetting in terms of, oh, I got attacked by a bear and I was in jail and all that other stuff?
Definitely. I think little bits of those stories pop up this season. But yeah, I'm reminded of the bear attack every time I sit for 3 hours in makeup with prosthetics on. So.